Good morning, football fans. We don't have an early morning game, so we are going to take over your Sunday morning entertainment. I am Mike Pendleton, best known at this brand here as Mikey P, and we are wasting zero time. I am sitting in for the coach who has other business to attend to, and you didn't think we would miss a Sunday morning, did you? Not when my Chicago Bears have a pivotal game and a man who apparently, what do I know? Our numbers guy, Rafael Esparza, joins me this morning. And apparently, Rafael, no matter what I or anybody else is going through, you, my friend, have been working the phones.
Yes, it's been a busy morning so far. I mean, you would say Aaron Rodgers is a big name. I would think maybe 5, 10 years ago, the phones would probably have been working a lot harder to see if he was playing this game. But I think me and you both can agree. The reason why there's so much interest in Aaron Rodgers playing is Aaron Rodgers playing because who he's playing. We all know the success on what he has on the team he's playing today with. I don't want to mention it because I don't want to get poo poo face all upset so early in the show, but he's had really good success playing in Soldier Field. People used to call it Lambeau Field too when he used to play for the Green Bay Packers. I think that's why so much buzz. It's not because he's going to have a big game or he's not going to have an old school Aaron Rodgers type of game. I just think the success he's had there is the reason why people are intrigued so much.
Well, first and foremost, I would rather watch 8 quarters of Aaron Rodgers on this Sunday than ever have you yourself refer to me as poo poo face. So, thank you very much for that. Shout out to Nate G in the chat. Well, listen, I don't know if we can end this show or even go on with this show until we hear from the chat queen because I got to know where her and I stand for today. You know, she's Steelers Nation. I'm bear down, baby. But let's jump in
Is
right
it
there.
Steelers or is it still Steel Curtain?
I don't know.
I'm just trying to correct you.
I think
I
the
think it's
play.
Steel.
Of course, you're trying to correct me. I think it's steel curtain for the players and Steelers. I don't know, but what? Okay, so how about this, Raphael? I don't know what I don't know. What do you know? What are you hearing about the availability of Aaron Rodgers?
He will play if he wants to play. I think the only way he doesn't play if the medical staff say, "Hey, you know what? You are not playing." He said all last night. I heard from players that he's playing. He's playing. He loves playing in Chicago. He loves the fans in Chicago. He loves people booing him in Chicago, which they do no matter what jersey he has on. I would be blown away. And I had one source told me today that if he had a bet, he's the guy I talked to is not a betting guy. He just gives me a lot of good nuggets. He says if he had a bet, he would put yes, Aaron Rodgers is out there.
So once again, to sum it all up, we have Aaron Rodgers versus science. Is that what it's boiling down to
Yeah,
here?
that's another phone call I have to make. I ain't making that phone call. That's let me try to call RFK. Maybe he'll know the better answer than that.
I'm not going to do my RFK impression, but all right. We do have some picks here. We will get to them in just a moment. But that's obviously the biggest news of the day. Coming up, we're going to go through the early slate. Raphael, you know that you and I always do it a little bit differently. We'll go through the early games. We'll look at a couple headlines. We'll go through the late games. And no matter what, we will have a Sunday evening show. It'll go live after the conclusion of the Eagles Cowboys game. If I do not have a voice by that time, it is because the Bears did well and the Cowboys beat the Eagles, and that's all I need. All right, let's get into our best bets here, Raphael. Big Sunday. We're getting down to the nitty gritty of the season. Why don't you go ahead and get us started?
Before I give out the big my big bets because I'm going 2-0. There's a couple of games I want to tell the viewers and make sure you jump on right now. The Detroit Lions. There's no way it's going to be 13 and a half. It's probably going to be the 14 pretty soon. So grab the 13 and 13 and a half right now. And the Saints and Falcons game right now. This is probably going to be 2 and a half. So much money coming in on the Saints and the over total open up at 39, just moved to 40 and a half, and one book just moved it to 41 as we were speaking. So make sure you get the best number. I kind of wanted to say that before I announced that. But my first play is the Patriots team total over 29 and a half. This is not because of the Patriots offense. It's not because of Drake May. It's because of one thing and one thing only. The Cincinnati Bengals defense, plain and simple. Their last 9 games, the Bengals have given up 35.3 points per game. This defense is not good. That's why I don't think Joe Burrow decided not to play. Because if they lose this game, I don't think he plays again. I don't care if he's ready to go. Because what's the point of playing when you have a horrible defense? Their home games alone, every team has scored 27 points or more. They're giving up 36 points per game at home. This is just not a good defensive team. I think the Patriots slide it up, give me the 29.5 points. And then give me the Saints at home, -1.5, laying the three nickels. Falcons have dropped 5 straight. Kirk Cousins, statue Kirk Cousins back there, is going to be trying to win this game. I don't see it. I'm just not sold on the Falcons. Beginning of the season, I'm sweating my bet. I have the Saints that have the worst record in football. It might be this Atlanta Falcons team that might end up winning this as the worst team in football. Saints coming off a bye week, and they beat another division team last time they played. They beat Carolina on the road. So I think the Saints have a little good mojo coming into the home game today.
Two things I would have never thought I heard you say this year: Saints and good mojo. But here
That's
we are, week
exactly.
12 in the NFL. I'll go ahead and read off the coach's picks. He's got the Jets and the Ravens over 44.5. Either the Ravens are dragging the Jets 42-3 over the goal line, or Coach sees something that we don't. But you know what? With Brees Hall and Tyrod Taylor, maybe that offense is a little different. Baltimore's defense playing a little bit better, but I do like that play from Coach. And then I could never poo-poo the coach, the man who I've built a mansion on Kiss Up Mountain for, the man who runs this said brand, the man who has the Chicago Bears -2.5. All right. So those are the coach's plays. And for me, because Coach was so nice to take the Bears at -2.5. What do you do when you're on Kiss Up Mountain, Raphael? You look and see what somebody has done for you, and
I
you do
saw
it,
that.
and you do it for them. So give me the Chiefs -3.5 taking on the Indianapolis Colts. I don't believe in a Colts team that got dismantled by a Pittsburgh Steelers defense, and I think the Chiefs defense is a bit better. The Colts do have Sauce Gardner. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. The biggest X factors here are obviously Jonathan Taylor for the Colts, Patrick Mahomes at quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm very, very intrigued to see how this Colts defense handles this Chiefs offense. I don't think it'll be a match. And then give me Drake May a little
Energy. Yeet.
Drake May over 287.5 pass and rushing yards. I think he is going to have a day. I honestly would like to see Drake May hit 300 pass and rush yards. I think he is going to really cement himself as one of the best quarterbacks in the league this weekend. And I think he and the Patriots have themselves an offensive showing. Speaking of offensive showing, Raphael, I may not be a mamby-pamby. I may not be Petty Machete. Oh, wait, I am Petty Machete. And I love drama. Raphael, would you join me, please, as the entire football world brings out their pitchforks? And would you sit in a circle with me and kumbaya as I tell the people that not one, but two things will happen in the Cleveland Browns game today? And that is Shedeur Sanders over 160.5 passing yards and the Browns +3.5 against the Raiders.
That's a close one. I want to see how many people are in the stands. This when F1 was last night in Las Vegas, and it ran a little bit longer than they expected. So I don't know if the people are going to be able to drive to the Raider game or even get inside the Raider game. So I'm more intrigued on what's going to happen with the game and stuff. I put up some prop bets, a lot of action guy. What would Shedeur Sanders do first? Throw a pick or throw a touchdown? Everyone bet the pick over under sacks taken. People bet the over at 2.5. Raiders are not a big sack team, so I was a little bit afraid that some under money would come in, but everyone bet the over on that one. So it's going to be really intriguing to watch that game between the Browns and the Raiders. That's an awful game.
Okay, so I'm not going to lie. Sometimes the most awful games on paper are the most interesting and entertaining games to watch. I will stand here. If the coach is on one side of Kiss Up Mountain, then Shedeur Sanders could be at the top of Kiss Up Mountain with me because I'm going to give you guys my sales pitch on Shedeur Sanders. And as much as that's a 305 game, Raphael, why don't we just start there? Because I don't care about any other game, obviously outside of the Bears, as much as I care about this one because the narrative is already built in. It goes right into everything you just talked about. People see 47 yards, 4 of 16 in relief. He played terrible last week, and they don't see the bigger picture. The bigger picture here for me is let's look at the teams as a whole. I would take the Cleveland Browns defense before I would take the Raiders defense, and Geno Smith is at quarterback. Geno Smith has not looked good all year. And you have Myles Garrett pressuring him. Yeah, I would be scared for the Raiders veteran quarterback. Myles Garrett is on an unworld pace this season. So, and on the Browns side, the defensive side, I don't think it even comes close. I would definitely take the Browns defense over the Raiders defense. Your thoughts?
I'll take that. I'll put it on the other side. I've heard from multiple sources saying the Raiders do not want to lose, not to the Browns. They do not want to lose to Sanders. They do not want to make this guy like, oh my God, he threw all over our defense. The Cleveland Browns came in there and crushed us, win by double digits. I think they're looking at the other side. I think the Raiders like, hey, we want to make sure he's not the name that makes the name on us, throwing all over, running all over us. Because he, don't forget, he is a dual threat quarterback, and I think he needs to do up his legs first because I think that will open up the passing game. So I can understand the Raiders do not want to make sure this guy doesn't look like a Hall of Fame candidate. So I think that's what's the most intriguing part. I'll speak on the Raiders, perhaps. I don't want this guy to have a big game against us as first starting quarterback. So I agree. There's the late games, great storylines, not just great games, great storylines, because you can throw back with the Cowboys and Eagles. The Cowboys defense much improving. Can Dak Prescott put up 20 plus points against this Eagles defense, who's been lights out the last 3 to 4 games? So I think the evening or the late afternoon games, great storylines, and usually storylines make good games.
Absolutely. And to finish breaking down that Browns Raiders game, look at the other side. If you look at the offensive side of the ball, the running back situation. Ashton Genty was everybody's favorite flavor coming into the draft. And then he goes to the Raiders. He hasn't done anything for the most part in his rookie season behind that very, very bad Raiders offense. On the other side, you've got Quinshawn Junkins of the Cleveland Browns, who I believe has 2 or 3 games with 2 touchdowns, at least 2 rushing touchdowns. So this kid, if I'm going hand in hand, I'm not doing no 6-7, but if I'm weighing them out and I'm looking at which one I like more, I like Junkins better than I do Ashton Genty in this game. And then it obviously comes down to the playmakers. Well, Jacoby Myers is gone. I would give Vegas Brock Bowers, but everywhere else, the Browns have not one but 2 tight ends: David Njoku, Harold Fannin, and then the wide receiver court. I know it's like scraps for trash, but I would much rather have Jerry Jeudy, Cedric Tillman, Isaiah Bond. There's a little bit of talent there more than there is on the Vegas side. I just think Shador has more weapons overall, Rafi.
Oh, he does. If you look at it down just the whole roster, I would think besides the Cleveland's defense being 1A in that whole roster, I think everything else would teeter totter to the Browns on the offensive side. But again, pride. These Raiders guys have pride, and they do not want to lose to Sanders today.
All right, last question here. Don't really want to look too much at this game because, like I said, let's hit the 12 o'clock games. But last question on this game: does Pete Carroll get fired
Oof.
if Shador Sanders beats him? If they embarrassingly beat him?
I'm hearing from Vegas people saying the only way Pete Carroll gets fired if Tom Brady wants him out. And what I heard they have really good communications. They're always talking stuff like that. I think Pete Carroll and Tom Brady knew they came in. This team's not good. It's not like they thought, oh, we're Super Bowl bound or playoff bound. We all know what division they play in. So I don't think he gets fired. Maybe the whole team might get fired or demoted if they lose to Sanders.
And then this could be also another question: is does Geno Smith play another game for
Oof.
Vegas? If Cleveland handles him, I just don't. I think it's more believable to say Geno Smith doesn't play again this season than Pete Carroll gets fired. But I really do think the Browns kind of cruise in this one. So let's look at the early games, and I'm going to say the best game between battle of first place teams in the North divisions. I'm going to save that one for last. I'm going to start right there at the top from BetMGM. Vikings and Packers. Your thoughts on this game overall?
I just don't know what Packers team I'm getting. Now we're in November 23rd, week 12. Now you know what teams have been cashing tickets for you, or teams have been really good to you in fantasy or whatever, and teams who have been awful, and you don't know what to do. The Packers, to me, is that team. I don't know what Jordan Love I'm going to get now that the running back's all banged up. The offensive line's really not healthy. I just don't know what team. I think they should take care of it because I'm not sold on JJ or whoever who's going to be out there playing quarterback for the Vikings. This is a big game for Green Bay just to get a W underneath their belt, but I can't lay that points. There's no way I'm laying 6.5. Wouldn't be shocked if it moves to 7, but I can't lay Green Bay 6.5.
I cannot either because I don't know if Josh Jacobs is playing. We're going to talk about this availability status here in a moment in another game in the NFC North. But everything leading up to this morning before we came on air, everything I've seen so far is still questionable. And that is a huge loss because, Raphael, you're right. We don't know what Jordan Love we're getting. Sometimes we get Jordan Love who looks like a world beater. And then sometimes we see Jordan Love who gets beat into the ground. So without Josh Jacobs, you severely limit their offensive capabilities. And right now at 6.5, I would take the Vikings. If that line moves to 7 before kickoff, I would take the Vikings. So I think Minnesota definitely has a chance here to not only cover but possibly win outright. And I think the big X factor, especially if Josh Jacobs is out, Aaron Jones, the former Green Bay Packer,
Yeah.
back at Lambeau Field. The only way to take pressure off JJ McCarthy is to give it to the veteran running back who's got something to play for in Lambeau Field against his former team. So I like Aaron Jones today on the ground for Minnesota, and I like Minnesota right now at plus 6.5. I love them at plus 7. Anything you like on this game?
I've just been trying to look through some text messages, emails. Look, right now it's still Jacobs, still questionable. They have not really announced anything or anything about that, which is a little bit shocking because it's what 10:17 Eastern Standard Time.
Yep.
Everyone's usually at the stadium right now, so I'm a little bit shocked that we haven't heard anything about that one. But I, I think the Packers defense is if they win and win easy, I think that's the reason why, not because Jordan Love had a good game. I think that defense shuts down the running game of Minnesota and puts pressure on the quarterback of Minnesota. So I think if I'm looking at it, I'm looking at an under game because of defensive.
We got a question here from RJ. He says, I know Raphael said Detroit minus 13.5, but would you do an alt line down to be safe?
Yeah, I'm not the biggest alt line down because you're paying the juice. Because this is the NFL. We've seen it all season long. The favorites have not done well. So why am I paying extra juice at minus 130, minus 140, whatever you're moving it down? I would just, if the number's too high or you miss the number, move on or live bet it.
All right, let's move on to the Patriots and Bengals game. I feel like a lot of these early games, Raphael, are going to be games where we're looking at and going, let's just quickly pick one side or the other and then mention a few player props because there's really not too many favorable or close matchups, I should say, in this early time slot. Patriots, Bengals, I know you're on the Patriots today. I'm on Drake May today. Is there anything to like from a betting perspective on this game, in your opinion?
I think there's some good value in Drake May, some of his passing prop bets. I just think if you're going to play New England offensive side of the ball, you probably going to look at the overs, but some of those numbers had just been skyrocketed since the opening number because they're playing the Bengals. It's no secret. You're not finding a nugget like, oh, the Bengals defense is really bad. Everyone knows that the Bengals defense is bad. So be very cautious when you're playing Patriots over prop bets or team totals because some of them have just been moved either 2 points or 2 yards already because it's a Sunday and these numbers have been live almost 6 days. So be very cautious. But I just don't see Cincinnati hanging around this game.
I do not either. And I want to hit on something with the New England Patriots. Ramondre Stevenson is back. And right now at BetMGM, Ramondre Stevenson is a minus 115 for an anytime touchdown. Travion Henderson, who we last saw put up 3 touchdowns, is plus money at a plus 115. I know Ramondre Stevenson is a Mike Vrabel guy, but man, oh man, Raphael, I don't know how you look away from a rookie coming off a 3 touchdown performance. I would definitely lay a little bit there on a Travion Henderson anytime touchdown.
But you said yes, he scored 3 touchdowns. I think their opponents know he scored 3 touchdowns, and they might want to guard him. So maybe some of those numbers might be a little bit off by now because of what he did last game.
Well, to your point, Cincinnati's defense is not all pro. So I would, listen. I know they understand who they have to protect. But if they can't, I believe the Bengals are one of the top teams in missed tackles this year.
Yes.
So Travion Henderson could easily find some pay dirt. And then let's not bury the lead here. No Jamar Chase. So how do we handle this from a player prop perspective on Cincinnati? Obviously, we have Spitgate with Jamar Chase, who spit on Jalen Ramsey. More on Jalen Ramsey in Pittsburgh here in a moment. But now it comes down to T. Higgins and Chase Brown. Mike Gesicki also back for Cincinnati today.
Chase Brown's numbers, they haven't adjusted. Like there's no spit gate in this one. Two books just moved this total to 51. The only thing that scares me, what if New England's up big in the fourth quarter, and then the Bengals just want to get out of there and start watching late afternoon games? They're not going to be throwing the ball if they're down double digits in the fourth quarter. They're just going to probably be just dump passes and handoff just to get out of this game. So that's the only thing that scares me if we see a blowout game, because I hate blowout games when you have totals. And I hate blowout games when you have passing yards over or receiving yards over or running backs over.
All right, we'll keep it moving here because we don't like to go too long on Sunday mornings. So Giants, Lions, Raphael, I really don't even know where to go in this game. I'm going to be very, very honest with you. There is nothing I like about this game except maybe the Lions team total, maybe the over, but it's at 50.5 right now. You can't play the Lions at minus 1,000, obviously. We've already been asked about the minus 13.5. Does anything make sense or is worthwhile for taking the Lions in this one?
Nah, I mean, don't forget, it was what I think, 3 days ago, this number was 10.5, 11.5. So if you didn't get those two numbers, why Sunday morning? Like, ooh, I think 13 and a half is a really good number. No, like a good number was 2, 3 days ago. And I think the total has probably surpassed itself as well. So this is one of those games. If you miss the number, pass on because there's other opportunities or live bet, which I'm going to be looking. I'm going to be looking to live bet this one just in case. What if someone gets an early field goal and now the numbers are completely crazy and we can see a low scoring first quarter, but we've all seen low scoring first quarters, and then second, third, and fourth, it's a score fest. So I'm looking to live bet this one.
Yeah, another good play here from Rich. Jahmyr Gibbs over rushing yards. I'll be honest, if there's anything Detroit Lions player prop wise, I would say take it all. I'm not even trying to be disrespectful, but they're playing inside. The Giants have a good pass rush. I will give the Giants that. I will give the Giants they have a good pass rush, but I think the Lions handled them easily in this one. So for me, I'm probably looking at Lions team total. Shout out to our chat queen, Kimberly, finally joining us. Thought she was holding
I
out
like
on us.
I like Gibbs rushing attempts over as well, because if it's a blowout game, you know what they're going to do. They're just going to hand off, hand off, hand off. So I like his rushing attempts over.
I absolutely love it. Seahawks and Titans very quickly. That line is set at 41. It seems low, but your thoughts?
I can see a bounce back big game for Seattle, especially on the offensive side. So I like Sam Donald longest pass. I like his passing completions. Tennessee's just an awful team. So if you're looking for, this is what the Seahawks in the dating world, I haven't been single for forever. This is a slump buster game. If you're Seattle, you're looking for a slump buster, and you get a nice dancing partner in Tennessee.
Did not have that on my bingo card this morning, but yet here we are. Jets and Ravens, another one of these games that we just have to get through to get us to some of the better games. Do you like anything in this game? Tyrod Taylor starting at quarterback. I don't even know what to make of this game, Raphael.
Yeah, this there's 3 games that I put an X on that like they want nothing to do with it. I mean, I'll watch it, I'll look at it on a numbers point of view, but for advice and telling people who I think there's good value and stuff like that, this game just doesn't do it for me. I think all the numbers were perfect. My lines compared to the books lines on opening numbers were pretty much close, so I didn't see any value into that. So Taylor, I do like Taylor's rushing yards. I think he's going to be running. I think if he wants to keep the offense on the field, he's going to need to do everything to get first downs and all that. So I do like his rushing yards.
All right, and currently over at BetMGM, he is listed at 26 and a half. So not terrible at all. He's going to be running for his life. So that's a very good play there. All right. This is one of my best bets. So we'll get this out of the way because it is a very big game in the AFC. And then now that the chat queen has arrived, we can focus on the most important game at 1 o'clock Eastern. But first, the Colts and the Chiefs. Rafael, just your overall thoughts on this game.
Yeah, talk about a desperate game. If you're a Kansas City fan, which I think I know a couple, this is the game. This is a game that you need. You're at home. And we all saw what the Colts did in their last road game. The steel curtain looked like the '70s steel curtain against the Colts offense. Can the Colts run the ball? That's if they can't run the ball, then it wouldn't shock me if Kansas City wins by double digits. But if Taylor can run the ball, let's say first quarter, and that opens up the passing game, the tight ends in the second quarter and third quarter, man, I do not want to watch a game of a Kansas City fan. It's all about can the Colts run the ball. If they can't, I think Patrick Mahomes and the offense puts up points, and it wouldn't shock me if they win by 10 points. If Taylor can run, it's a totally different game.
And I believe Walsey said it best. He said this is desperation time for the Kansas City Chiefs, and
Yeah.
I absolutely agree. They're at home, only 3.5. I think they roll in this game. Yes, Jonathan Taylor will be key for them. However, I really, really think Patrick Mahomes knows what's at stake here. This entire Chiefs team knows what's at stake. I think Jonathan Taylor will still get his, but overall, I think that Chiefs offense will be a bit too much. Going to be interesting to see what the Colts do with Sauce Gardner as well. From a betting perspective, anything you like?
It scares me because I have talked to so many people and they're all agreeing Kansas City, Kansas City, Kansas City, desperate mode, win, win, win. I haven't heard that many people say, you know what, I like the Colts. I think they're going to be able to run the ball, establish it. This is not the same Kansas City team we've seen in years past. That's, I think, what scares me. I think Patrick Mahomes, even though I didn't cash this last game, but I'll take his rushing attempts and rushing yards over, and I'll take his passing yards. And I'll even look at Travis Kelsey because the names are going to have a big game if Kansas City wants to win this game. If they win this game, it's not because Patrick Mahomes threw 2 picks or Travis Kelsey had 3 receptions or anything. The names are the reason why Kansas City wins this game. So if you like the Chiefs, then look at the names that brought you to Chiefs Super Bowls: Mahomes, Kelsey. I think those are the two names that I'll be looking at if I do like the Kansas City Chiefs to win this game.
Yeah, he and those two, and obviously Rasheed Rice as well. I like Brashard Smith in this game. There's no Isaiah Pacheco once again. I know everybody likes Kareem Hunt, but I do like Brashard Smith, maybe on rush and receiving yards. And Raphael, because she is the chat queen and she does so much for the brand here. I'm going to bring this comment here up from Miss Kimberly, our chat queen. Speaking of X, not to change sports, West Virginia and Xavier at the Charleston Classic. Xavier plus 6.5 over under 140.5. Any thoughts?
I'm waiting to see if this moves to 7 because if it does move to 7, I'm probably going to look at the X-Men. This one opened up at 5, 5.5. Quickly moved. I always like to play X-Men on these holiday tournaments. They usually know how to prepare themselves. They usually play neutral court games a lot year after year in college basketball. So I'm looking to get as much points on the X-Men.
Very, very good. All right. And now, again, that she is here, let's take a look at the Chicago Bears and Pittsburgh Steelers game. Raphael, two teams who everyone knew would be in first place entering week 12 in their respective divisions. First and foremost, obviously, the big story here is the availability of Aaron Rodgers. The second biggest story is if Kimberly and I will still speak after this game. Your thoughts overall on this game?
I don't have any action on this game yet because I want to see what the betting public does when they officially announce Aaron Rodgers is playing this game. He's out there throwing passes the uniform on because the betting public is going to fly at the window and bet the steel curtain. So if I can get a better number on the Bears, which I'm not saying the Bears win this on great offense, Caleb Williams and Nduze and all that. Bears win on takeaways. Bears win on defense. Bears win on an ugly type game, a bear game. And I'm not just saying weather and all that because both teams have played in weather. Hello, have you been to Pittsburgh in January and December? They don't have sunshine and rainbows there either. But I'm just thinking if it's an ugly type game, Bears have won some ugly type games with takeaways and defense. That's what I am looking at. I don't want to bet this game because I want the betting world to finally find out that Aaron Rodgers is playing this game and see what number I can get.
It is definitely going to be interesting with the Rodgers situation. Here's what I would caution anyone on the Bears side. The Bears do not have Jalen Johnson or Kyler Gordon. However, they haven't had them for most of the season.
Yeah.
All three starting linebackers for the Chicago Bears are out for this game. So you are going to have a bunch of guys you've never heard of playing linebacker, which I think, and ready for this next level capping here, Rafael? When you have three big body tight ends against linebackers who are very young, very inexperienced, and not very good, I like all three Pittsburgh tight ends to do anything. Throw the ball, run the ball. In all seriousness, though, they're passing. So Darnell Washington, Jonnu Smith, and Pat Fryermuth, whatever their lines are, I would look at them. I do believe Nashawn Wright and Tyreek Stevenson can withhold DK Metcalf. However, Pittsburgh also has a running game with Kenneth Gainwell and Jalen Warren. So Steelers do have playmakers. The Bears do have some disadvantages on defense. But as you alluded to, Rafael, they lead the league in takeaways with 21. And it's not really the linebackers getting them, although Terrain Edmonds had 4. He'll be out at least the next 4 weeks. So for me, the Steelers' defense is very hot and cold. And I am just hoping at Soldier Field on November 23rd, they are as cold as the weather is in Chicago. Obviously, this game changes a whole bunch, but in a weird way, Rafael. And it's not sour grapes, but in a weird way, I would love to see Rodgers play in this game because while he's had plenty of success against the Bears franchise, not with this team, not against this team, and I think this Bears fan base is so incredibly enthused coming into today, knowing what they're in first place, knowing what's at stake. All these things add up to it's not going to be a walk in the park for Aaron Rodgers, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, if you're the Bears and Bear fans, you want him to play. I think if you're Pittsburgh and Steeler fans, you don't want him to play. I think Mason Rudolph will have better success because you know what Aaron Rodgers is not going to do is run the ball when needed to try to stretch the field out or get first downs. And you said it. Me and you could be middle linebackers for this Bears team right now. So if you're a little bit of a mobile quarterback, I'm not saying Mason Rudolph is Michael Vick or Lamar Jackson, but he could extend plays and get a run for 3-4 yards and get a first down. We ain't gonna see that with Aaron Rodgers with his broken wrist. So if I'm a Steelers fan, which I'm still trying to cash my tickets for to win a division, and I want Mason Rudolph to play, but if I'm a Bears fan, I want Aaron Rodgers to play because he's going to be a wounded duck out there. And you know what it is? It's duck season. So I think the Bears want Aaron Rodgers to play.
I love it, Rafael. All right, 2 things very quickly I want to get to before we hit the 3 o'clock games. And in all seriousness, Kimberly, good luck to you. You've coined me the title of little brother, so I hope little brother is still allowed at the family table come Thanksgiving, which is 4 days or 5 days away. Rafael, so there's a strange situation in San Francisco who play on Monday night where over the weekend it was reported that Brandon Ayuk had his guarantees voided for missing meetings, basically not being a team guy while he's recovering from a torn ACL. He was supposed to be coming back earlier this year. They have yet to activate him. Do you think we've seen Brandon Ayuk's final days in a 49ers jersey?
Yes. Next question, please. Yeah, I just don't. I mean, we should all be used to this with San Francisco. I mean, they've had some rideouts and other teams. It's just me, not team. So this doesn't surprise me on this at all. And I think this is the last. They wanted him gone a couple of years ago to be out of it. So this is his way. And this is the 49ers way saying, hey, you know what? Clean your locker.
Yeah. I think obviously hindsight is 2020, but I think I think they'd like to go back and have that trade agreement with the Pittsburgh Steelers back.
Yes, yes.
DK Metcalf and Brandon Ayuk would be a fun little duo for Aaron Rodgers or Mason Rudolph or Rafael Esparza for that matter in Pittsburgh. If you're throwing to those two guys, and then the other thing you mentioned it earlier when we talked about their game against the Patriots. But Joe Burrow not activated. He went through quite a few days of practice this week. I know it's easy to say they're bad. They're going to be bad. Let him rest. Don't risk further injury. But I'm on the other side, Raphael. Maybe play spoiler against your division. They still have to play the Ravens. Let's try to get Joe Burrow's confidence up. Do you think Joe Burrow will play again in Cincinnati this year?
I think he plays Thanksgiving. I think that was their target. Because why play him today and have short rest and play on Thanksgiving? I thought that was their whole target. Even if they lose today, let's say they get blown away today, I still think he plays on Thanksgiving. Now, what they do after Thanksgiving, I think it's a toss up. But let's say they lose badly on Thanksgiving, then I think maybe, hey, you know what, we played you, and now we just need you to rest because we need to think about next year. But I do believe we see him under center just because this was an injury that said he was supposed to be out all season long. I think he wants to come out at least one game to show everybody, hey, look, I came back. Our team stinks. I played at least one game. If we were in a playoff hunt, I would play week 14, week 15, week whatever. But I think he plays Thanksgiving to show everybody, hey, you know what? I came back much earlier than expected, but I don't see him playing all the rest of the season.
Well, also with no Jamar Chase, why would he
Well, yeah,
play?
yeah.
No disrespect to T. Higgins, but if your boy's not there, I don't know why you would step out on the field on a short week. By the way, that's a good call, Raphael, because I believe, not that we're here for more Bears talk, but I believe that's why the Bears have not activated Kyler Gordon or Jalen Johnson. You have a short week coming up with them playing Philadelphia on Friday next week, so there's no reason to rush them back this week. Short rest against a team that they're likely going to need them for come Black Friday.
I keep on forgetting that those two games play on Friday. I was looking at my itinerary because I fly out late on Friday. I'm like, oh, they better have good Wi-Fi. I'm not playing because I want to watch that game.
We will talk about that game here in a moment because we will always look ahead. But just a few games here. I don't want to spend too much time on the Sunday night. Actually, I'm going to call an audible. I don't want no talk on the Monday night game because that's what the Monday night grind is for. We'll very briefly touch on the Bucks and Rams, but let's look at a couple of these kind of lower ranked matchups here in the late afternoon slot. We'll start with Atlanta and New Orleans. Kirk Cousins in for Michael Penix. No Drake London in this game. Your thoughts on this one? Is this just a watch, don't bet?
No, I like the Saints in this bet. They're coming up a bye week. I think momentum for a rookie quarterback to win a road game in Carolina. Now he's playing his first home game as a starter with a little bit. I can't believe I'm going to say this again. Saints momentum, winning a division game. And Atlanta, 5 straight losses. What's their mentality? Missing a big star and wide receiver. They can't run the ball as of late. I just don't. I just don't like this Falcons team. This is a momentum game, and right now the Saints have it, and I'm going to take that. I bet this at a pick 'em. It's still 1.5. There is some twos out there. I would bet this all the way up to 2.5 if your book only has either two. But I just think the Saints win this game. I actually like the overs. What is total open up at 39 is now 41. Is a 41.5 out there. I think we're going to see some points scored on the Saints side.
Very, very good, my friend. I like Tyler Algier for an anytime touchdown in this game as well. And also a little keep stay on your toes play, as the cool kids like to say. How about Devin Neal? And if you lay it and it hits, my social media handle on the good old X and Twitter is at MP2310. Devin Neal at anytime touchdown score plus 725. You're welcome, America.
I
That's
hope you catch that because that means anytime touchdown means points, and I like the over.
see, that's we got synergy all day long. I don't care what the streets say about me and you hosting shows. They don't say anything. But every time you and I do a show, there's synergy all day, every day. The other game quickly to look at in the late afternoon slot, Jacksonville and Arizona. Jacoby Brissett back under center. No Travis Hunter in Jacksonville. What, if anything, do you like in this game?
I said that I can't trust Green Bay and Love and they win one, lose one. It's the same thing over in Jacksonville. I don't know what team I'm going to get one week when they beat the Chiefs at home, and last week they had a great week, and then they flop and lose a horrible game at home. I just can't trust this team. I think you would think they would want to come out and just blow this garbage Arizona team because they won last week. They have a little bit of momentum. Trevor Lawrence had a really good game. They were able to run the ball. I just can't trust it. Am I going to get back to back games from JAX? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you. This is kind of a, if you have something to play, go ahead and play it, and then just walk away. As the Grey's Anatomy would say, just play and walk away. I am very much in that line of thing. There's not much. If I'm being
Yeah.
honest, there's not much of anything that I like in this game, whether it be player props or anything. I'm just staying away.
It's
My
sad when there's more better betting value on the Browns Raiders than there is in the Jaguars Cardinals.
100% there is. 100% there is. And, Michael Wilson, Trey McBride, they're probably going to be the two most, if I had to guess, the two most bet player props for this game. You also have Travis Etienne in Jacksonville. Brenton Strange is back for Jacksonville, the tight end who was on a roll to start the season. But again, not much to like at all. All right, Rafael, the big one. Well, the third big one. The Cowboys and the Eagles. It's a good old fashioned NFC East rivalry game. I know you think I'm crazy. Well, everyone thinks I'm crazy. I like the Cowboys in this game, but I'm going to let you start off your thoughts on this game.
Boy, me and you could be eating crow because I also do like the Cowboys in this game. How do you not? I mean, George Pickens is just putting up numbers after numbers after numbers. But by the first quarter, you'll know if the Cowboys are in it or not. If they can score on their first or second drive to put pressure on that Eagles defense, then I think we have a great game. But if the Eagles defense comes out and flex their muscles, and let's say it's a 3-0 or 7-0 game in the first quarter, then I think this is could be an Eagles landslide. We've seen teams just crush Cowboys at home. I still could close my eyes and see Green Bay Packers and a player just putting more points on the board a couple of years ago. I wanted to play the Dallas Cowboys team total over 22.5. They have talent on offense. Dak Prescott, Pickens, Lamb. They have all the talent to put up numbers. But then you watch the last two games that the Eagles played. And we're not talking about that offense of Philadelphia. We are talking about that defense in Philadelphia.
This is a very intriguing game because we're coming off of as you said, Eagles performance where they handled the Lions and the Packers. They held them to 16 combined points. That's worth noting. What's also worth noting is that the Eagles beat the Cowboys in week 1 by a total of 4 points. I believe both of these teams have gone in opposite directions despite their records, where Philly's offense has taken 5 steps back. Dallas's offense has gotten better. And I don't want to go off a recency bias, but with the new players they have or some of the returning players they have on defense, I understand it was the Raiders. And I crapped all over the Raiders this morning. I like Dallas's defense almost as much as I like Philly's defense in here. And I like Dallas's offense more than I like Philadelphia's offense right now. And we always call these games from last week, the Cowboys and Raiders, we like to call them a look-ahead game. I think it was a get-right game. I think CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens getting benched for the first series. You think they're doing anything to screw up the momentum coming into this weekend? I didn't think so. Javonte Williams ran hard. You don't think he's going to kind of try to back that up? Dak Prescott, 4-touchdown performance. Right now, Dallas has momentum. Philly has questions. They have talent, but that talent has questions. I'm going to take the team with momentum. I'm going to take the Dallas Cowboys +3 here. I would even sprinkle a little on the money line here. For me, the big one here, Raphael, is your thoughts on how we play the wide receivers. A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens.
There's too many question marks for me on the Eagles' offensive side. I'm not touching any of those guys for the offense. There's just so many big questions. And you know me, Pickens 1A. I know CeeDee Lamb's flashy. I know CeeDee Lamb's got the name. Lamb's better than Pickens. But all Pickens has done for me, and I'm just speaking on my behalf, as cash tickets for receptions over, receptions. So in my eyes only, he's 1A. And I like his numbers today. So give me George Pickens. Give me both of the. I think the wide receiver crew. Give me the Cowboys wide receiver crew over the Eagles Dallas crew.
Walsey, we're riding with you. DC4L, let's go Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? I'll also reveal here in about 4 minutes why I actually do like the Cowboys in this game. And then Buccaneers Rams, Sunday Night Football, a game that means so much to both franchises. Raphael, your thoughts as we get ready to put a bow on this morning show.
I'm gonna wait to see what the betting public does all day long. If the betting public wins or loses, how they gonna handle the chase game? Do we need to chase because we lost, or we have extra money because we won? I want to see what that happens. I think it's gonna be a tight game. I thought a little bit shocked at 7. That wouldn't shock me if we see 6.5, because most people who have 7 have -7, -105. So that's telling me that they're getting really heavy action on the other side, and they want more Rams money. So we could see a possible 6.5. But I think it's gonna be a tight game. I think both quarterbacks have big games.
Raphael, I had to sit up because this is where the show gets good. First and foremost, I like the Buccaneers over and the Rams game to go over 49.5. I like the Buccaneers +7 to cover, but more than ever, Raphael, I was gonna save. You know what? I'll save it. I just love teasing America. I just love teasing America. I will get there in a moment because that for me is the big thing. Chris Godwin's coming back for Tampa Bay. That's one. Now they're going to slowly start to get the cavalry back. I think Chris Godwin can make a difference. I think the Buccaneers can keep it within a touchdown, and I do like the over. I think we'll see a very similar game that we saw between the Rams and Seahawks last week. So we will have more on that at the conclusion of this afternoon's Cowboys and Eagles game. We will be back here on the Coaching Company YouTube page. I believe the coach will be back. I know I will be back. Raphael will be handling all his phone calls and meetings. Raphael, as we put a bow on this Week 12 pregame show, any final takes from you, sir?
Week 12 has produced some really good storylines. Now could we produce really good games? Aaron Rodgers going to your backyard, Cowboys and the Eagles, Shadur Sanders in his first start. So there's some really, really good storylines out there. So I'm just hoping for really, really good games to match those storylines.
I told myself I wasn't going to do this, Raphael. And I didn't have the best of evenings last evening. So here I go. Okay, America. I would like to introduce to you the reason to watch NFL football on Sunday, November 23rd. First and foremost, the undeniable first place Chicago Bears taking on maybe a very fearful, maybe a very scared, maybe a very intimidated Aaron Rodgers, who may not play. And that's okay. Because then at 4 o'clock, 4:25 to be exact, Eastern time, Raphael, the Cowboys and the Eagles. Oh, it's an NFC East showdown that we all love. One of the best rivalries in all of football. And we get it. Prime time slot in the late afternoon game. And then Buccaneers and Rams. And Raphael, why do all three of these games matter? Before I tell the world, do you know why they matter?
You know why it matters to me. I can't speak on behalf of the world.
On behalf of the world, because I'm not going to do coach's shtick, right? I don't do gimmick infringement. But you've got it all right there, America. You all have come to love the Coaching Company brand. You all have come to love to hate Mikey P. So let me tell you what is on the line today. If the Bears beat the Steelers, the Cowboys, they don't really have anything to do with this. If the Cowboys beat the Eagles, maybe the Eagles are a little poo-poo face, as we like to say here at the brand. But most importantly, if at 1 o'clock Eastern, the Bears beat the Steelers, and at 8 o'clock Eastern, the Buccaneers can defeat the Los Angeles Rams, well then, Raphael, let me tell you what we have coming up in just less than 7 days. That's the wrong... Here we go. I screwed up. we have a first place in the NFC showdown. If the Buccaneers beat the Rams and the Bears beat the Steelers today, the Eagles and Bears will play for first place in the NFC on Black Friday. Get your wives out of the house. And by God, look at that. RJ letting us know. Producer man, I know you're on the ones and twos. I know you're on the ones and twos, producer man, but Raphael, if you don't mind. Aaron Rodgers not playing. Mason Rudolph is in. Bear down, baby. Who doesn't? Who doesn't? Yes, Walsey shot my wad a little too straight.
That's
Go.
enough. I think for the Bears fans, I think they should be. I don't want to say worried, but I think the Bears fans really wanted Aaron Rodgers. I think Pittsburgh now have a legitimate shot of stealing this game because I think what Mason Rudolph can do on the field than what old man River with a broken hand can do on the field. I think it's a great spot for Pittsburgh. No offense.
You know, I
I
don't have
said
any
no
sound.
offense. I
I
said
don't
no.
have any sounders to play over you while you're talking, so I will say this. Here's the only reason why I didn't want Aaron Rodgers to play. Because I didn't need that smug Aaron Rodgers going out in his final season in the NFL going, I beat the Chicago Bears with one hand. I don't need that. All right. I don't need that because he would have said it. But Raphael, let's remind the good people very quickly as we get out of here. Let's recap our best bets from this morning because we had a few late stragglers to the party. But in all seriousness, yes, this is a massive game here for myself. I'm just speaking for myself, and maybe I'll speak for JC1 as well. Any Bears fan, it's the last time they were in first place this early in the season, 2018. That's 7 years ago. They've made the playoffs twice since 2010. Yeah, this every week is going to feel more and more important. So I put a lot of stake into this one. Very, very quickly, Raphael, let's wrap it up so we can get out of here. Your best bets for today. Go.
I think the Cleveland Browns have a better hold my beer moment at your Bears who've been in playoff games before, but I'll take the Patriots team total over at 29.5 because the Bengals defense sucks. Plain and simple. I don't have to analysis that one. And they give me the Saints -1.5, laying the 3 nickels. Momentum, momentum, momentum. And that's what the Saints have right now. So I'll take the Saints at -1.5.
And the coach, although he couldn't be here, he still sent in picks like a great man would. Jets and Ravens over 44.5 in that AFC showdown. And because he's a very, very smart man, Bears -2.5 at a -115. And then for yours truly, well, if coach is taking the Bears, I'm taking the Chiefs. Give me the Chiefs -3.5 at a -102. Give me Drake May, quarterback of the New England Patriots, over 287.5 pass and rushing yards. And then everyone's favorite early, late afternoon storyline, the Cleveland Browns, led by not Baby Sanders, but Shador Sanders. Give me Shador Sanders over 160.5 passing yards. And then give me the Browns +3.5, taking on the Vegas Raiders. Those are our best bets. You guys have asked your questions. We have given you our answers. You have gotten our insights. And now there's only one thing left to do. Take all of these tickets, grab all of your friends, put them all together, and let's collect. For Rafael Esparza, our numbers guy, for a reason, and producer man behind the scenes, and every single one of you, Walsey, Kimberly, JC1, RJ, everyone that joined us, Nate G, a couple new names in the chat as well. Want to thank each and every one of you. Again, we will be back tonight at the conclusion of the Eagles and Cowboys late afternoon game. For Rafael Esparza, I am Mike Pendleton, best known as Mikey P. And as Walsey says, good luck to all Bears fans today. We'll see you guys later today, right here on Coaching Company.